Okay, so today we are going to dive into the another atmosphere of tech, which is working in a markdown. So markdown is a kind of a file that will give you a chance to write in an internet environment. So markdown allow you to maybe write and collaborate with others. For example, maybe you are working in a kind of a particular project. So markdown will allow you to write all the text. And in short, markdown is a text file. Oh, I don't. It contains text, code, images. So it supports a lot of things, and it works under the atmosphere of internet. So it's a kind of file that is very, very flexible. It allows you to do data science, machine learning, engineering, and a lot of stuff. So Markdown is very, very important things that we need to explore. So without wasting much time, let us dive into the Markdown. So Markdown, for example, like a text file, the extension is txt. For example, like a doc file, for example, is doc. Excel file is ext. It's something like that. So Markdown is md.md. That's the extension of Markdown. So all your README file are Markdown. Let me give you an example. Let me create another. Okay, let me create. Sorry, give me some minutes. Yeah, I didn't sign on my GitHub. Let me sign. Yeah, let me like just give me a second. Okay, so this is my GitHub. Let me create another repository. Let me create another repository. Sorry. Yeah. Let me create another repository.
Na gaya mai muna quick competition ana debate ana irin waɗannan amma project.
So please, are you all seeing my screen? Okay, let me call this repository, let's say Markdown session. Okay, let me call it, yeah, let me call it Markdown. I don't need to write anything about, let me leave it as, turn it, this repository. So please, whenever you are creating a repository, make sure you turn this thing on, the README file, because README file is a Markdown file. So you need to turn it on. So let me write this. Okay, I don't need to do that one. Let me create a repository. So I create this repository called Markdown. So for me to work with this repository in my own, please, do you hear me? Let me know exactly whether you're hearing what I'm saying.
We can we can hear.
Okay, that's very good. So for you to work with this repository in your own BS course, so you need to pull this repository into your own BS course so that you can use it. Let me show you how to do it. Please look, are you seeing my screen? So you come and click here, then you copy the link. After you click of copy the link, then you come here, you come to our own BS code, then you write git full. Then you paste the link you copy. Please, who is this making noise, please? So the network is very, very poor, but let me create a new file called the markdown so that we come up with it instead of creating another one. Let me create it somewhere here. Let me create it somewhere here. Where is our own folder? Yeah, let me create it here. So let's see markdown. Okay, let me call it introduction to markdown. So let's assume I create this file. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot to write the extension of the file. So let me rename the file. The extension of markdown is .md. So let me write .md. So this is clear way of creating a markdown. So after you create the markdown file, the first thing is how to write a header. For example, maybe if you are using doc, you may have a different heading. Let me give you an example. For example, maybe you have a chapter one. After chapter one, maybe there is another sub chapter under chapter one. For example, maybe you can have under chapter one, you have introduction, problem statement, scope of the research. They are all under chapter one, right? So this is what you call sub chapters. So if you are declaring a chapter or a title in Markdown, so this is how you're supposed to do it. Let me this is still you write then let's say markdown session. Let me write introduction to markdown. So if you have the only this hash means you are declaring this as a title. Do you understand? Maybe as a chapter. Look at how the preview will look like. This is how the preview will look like. This is how the preview will look like. Markdown. So maybe you have another thing under this chapter one, or maybe you have we call it subchapter. Maybe you may have maybe we can have maybe also how to write italic. How to write in italic. So, for example, this is maybe another subheading. Look at how it look like. So I think you all believe me that this one will be a main header and this is a subheader under this one. So, for example, let me give you another example. So you are going to write just like the way you are writing. Let me say in this session we are going to explore the beauty of markdown. So this is how it should look like. And I can also make this one to maybe I can make it to add emphasis on it. Look at how I will do it. I can come here and add a greater than like this. So this is how it's for this. I can highlight all the area of the file of the text. Look how it's going to look like. This is more or less when you are working on that maybe aims when you are writing maybe a research paper and you are going to highlight the aim of the research paper. So you can write it in this form so that you are going to highlight the relevance of the paper. Or maybe I can say it is important. So this is why we are going to use this greater than. So so how do you write in italic? So to write in italic is very, very simple in Markdown. What you're going to do is that you're going to use underscore. I can say double underscore. Then you write, but make sure this underscore is attached to the letter. For example, maybe this writing is in italic. Oh, this is how you are going to write in italic. Make sure that this underscores, make sure this underscores are attached to the letters. Don't separate them with the letter. This is how the preview will look like. I hope you are seeing it. Please, are you all seeing my screen?
Yes, we are seeing.
And you are hearing my voice, right?
We can hear you well.
That's very good. So this is how.
Yes, we can.
Let me move this one down.
Yes.
So this is how you write in italic form. What you should do is that you are going to write single underscores. After single underscore, then you write your letter, what you are going to write. But always make sure that the underscores is attached to your letter. And also you can highlight something. You can make something bold, right? Maybe I want to make an emphasis. For example, maybe let me add something like please, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to get lost.
You can see just
Okay. Okay. So if you are seeing my screen, let us do something. Let's start with something like formatting text so that we can let me let me see this one. Let's see. So let's say we are going, let's start with this one. How do you format text? So you can do a lot of things formatting text. For example, like you can write something in italic. Let me give you an example. Um, let me write this one so that it will be under this one. Let me. So for you to write in italic, you are going to surround your text with underscores. This is as simple as that. for you to write in italic. Just like maybe, let me give you an example. So if you are going to make this only italics to be this italic, this letter italic in italic, so you are going to use underscores here and another underscores here. So you make it italic. Or you can use stars. For example, like this one. Let me copy this. Let me paste it here. Let me paste it here. So I can come here. I can use star and come here. I can use another star here. So you can believe me that they're all in italics. But the beauty of markdown is that if you have two separate lines in your mark, so you need to have a space. Otherwise, it will concatenate all the letters. So that's another thing. So you need to understand this one. So after using italics, you can use bold. Okay, to use bold, so to use bold in markdown, let me let me let, let me show you how to use bold in markdown. So to use bold is to use double star, double asterisk. For example, like here, you can see maybe bold you go. So this is how you make something bold in markdown. So now you understand how to write a header, maybe supporting header, maybe subheader, another subheader. You write in italics, in bold, then maybe we can have, and you can combine the two operations. For example, you can write something in italic as well as in bold. Let me give you an example. Let me copy this one. Yeah, let me write it here. Let me see both italics and bold. So let me give you an example like this one. So if you want this one to be in italic, for example, you can, and as well as in bold, so you can attach this here to here. Sorry, you can attach this, but this has to be double. This has to be double. So you can believe me that this letter italics is in bold in italics and bold. So so is there any issue, any problem here before we go further? Please, is there any problem? Any question so far? Okay.
No problem. We do understand.
So and there will be a situation whereby maybe you want to maybe surround maybe a certain letter to make it just like a code. For example, maybe you want, let me write this one. Let me say I am good. I'm good in maybe Python and data science. in data science. For example, let me, I want to, I want to make this Python to be like a code. I want to make it because sometimes Python and other programming languages, when you're writing a markdown, you need to make them to appear like a code. So to do that, you come here, not here. Right there, yeah. Come and support this one. So it will appear something like this. So look at how the appearance will look like. So look at the Python here. Please, are you seeing my screen? So if you are seeing my screen, you realize that look at how the Python appear. Yeah. So this is how you are going to write any kind of programming language when you are writing a markdown. Sometimes even data frame, you're going to write something like that. Yeah. So that you can make your writing to appear uh initially. So after this one, let's assume maybe you you want to write an equation. You want to write an equation. Maybe you have superscripts. So let me, how do you write superscripts? So to do that, you are going to use a dollar sign. Dollar sign. Dollar sign helps you to write an equation. So let me check this version of my computer whether it has, yeah, it has dollar sign. Let me write it here. Let me give you an example with this one. So we have this one, we have okay. Mm. Let's assume I have something like this one. So this markdown, whenever you're writing an equation, make sure both the beginning and end of your equation has this dollar sign. This is the most important thing you need to understand. Whenever you're writing an equation in markdown, make sure the beginning and end of your equation has this dollar sign. So let me give you the preview of what we have written here. So this is the equation we have wrote. Are you all seeing? Please, if you are seeing it,
Yes,
please
please.
indicate in the comment, in the chat. Let me.
Yes, I see you.
So, so, so these are the basics of Markdown. And another thing, let's add another thing before we call it a day, because there's a lot of things we need to understand. We need to take it bit by bit. So now, the next is how do you write list in Markdown? List in Markdown. But to write list in Markdown, it's very, very simple. Let me start with how to list of maybe names. Let me start with the names. Maybe we have Macaulay. Let me have dash. Let me call it attendance. Let me call it attendance. Let me call it attendance. So let me let names. Let's say we have Abdullahi Sadisu. Maybe we have Noura Abdullahi Mende. We have Aliyu Abdullahi. So maybe we have Abu Bakr down here, for example. So look at this is how you write in Markdown. Look at how the names would appear here. So just with only dash, look at so it gives you like a dot names, just like how you write list uh in doc file. So at times, for example, you can write it in numbers. For example, let me give you an example. Let me give you another example. Maybe you want to write maybe
Sorry.
in numbering. Let me call numbering, for example. Let us see how to write something in. So look, let's start this. If I write this like this, I write 3 here. 3. Let me use a small case here. 3. Instead of me to come and write, for example, like 3 here, I come here, I write 1 instead of 4. Maybe I write it here, 1. Then I write 4. Then I write 4 like this. Then I come here, instead of me to write, I'll come and write 1 again. I write 5. Instead of me to write another, I come and write 1 again. I say 6. So let's look at the preview. Look at the preview. So you can hear with me. This is just like instead of me to write this, so the markdown will make it automatic. So the markdown understand that we want to write 4 here, here we want to write 5, 6. So this is how the number will look like. Do you all understand this? And at times maybe you can write, maybe you want to purchase a foodstuff in the market. So okay, let me call it, let me take it like attendance here. Let me copy this one. Let me copy this one here and make some amendment here. I'll make it checklist. Let me call it checklist. So let's assume maybe some of our members are not around. For example, let me see how many of us were around in our last session. So I think Macaulay isn't around. So let me mark those that are not around in our last session. So to do that, what we should do is that you're going to make a space here, space, space here. Okay, so you have something like this. So if maybe Macaulay is around, so you come here in this square bracket, then you have your X here. Maybe if maybe Macaulay is around, let's assume Ali is also around. Let me make it Ali. Here, let me make it Ali here. Let's say Ali is also around, so let me make Ali also around. So here, okay, yeah. So let's look at it. Let's look at it. This is how it will appear, the markdown. So you see, this one is tick, this one is tick, while the remaining that they don't have tick. That means only Moxadis, Abdullah Sadisu, and Ali Abdullah were present during our last session. Do you understand? So I think our session will end very soon. So I don't know whether you have question for me.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, we do understand.
So is there any question regarding markdown? Please, is there any question regarding markdown?
We don't know normal.
So for example, let's assume.
Walaikum. Oga,
So
please, we need the recording after the session so that we can review it.
okay, no problem. No problem. I think I didn't prepare for this session. So inshallah, I will make sure that tomorrow we are going to also revise this one and move forward. Yeah, because you can, for example, maybe we are analyzing maybe a beam, for example. Do you hear me? Okay. So I will share the thing with you. So let me show you how you add things to your GitHub. Look at this one is our how I normally upload our session. So let me save this file, control save. So let me check my terminal because this is also another thing we need to explore. Working with terminal. This will be our after this one, we are going to learn how to work with terminal. So let me write so you all bear with me that this file, introduction to markdown.md, is written under this folder getting started. So for me to save this file in my GitHub so that you in India or any other part of the world can access this file. So I need to make sure that this is under my terminal is under this. Look at here. Initially, my terminal is under RODS. So I navigate to this machine learning for civil engineers folder and also enter another folder because this getting started is under this machine learning for civil engineers folder. So that's why I enter this. Then I need to add this in my GitHub. So let me say git add. So instead of me to write this name of this file, just I'm going to write git add then space done full stop. The reason I wrote this one is that the name of this file is very long. I don't want to take time to write it. So this git.add then space dot means that the Git should add all the files under this. If you have thousands of files, then you don't need to write git add this file, git add this file. So with git add dot means git please add all the files under this folder. So let me say git commit. So meaning of this git commit is that what changes did you made on this file? So let me say created, let's say new file for markdown session. So this will enable you to track all your progress. For example, if I want to know when did I create this file, I'll come here and check my commit. I will locate specific point. Then I will click. I can even delete this file. For example, if maybe I make some amendment on this file, then I will write the name of amendment I made on this file so that maybe if the amendment is very wrong, maybe I want to delete it. I'll just come and delete all this commit so that all the amendment will go. So this is the reason why you make this commit. It will give you an idea about the specific change you make under this file. So then let me, after this, then you write git push, then origin main, enter. So with this, you can access. So I think, okay, so I got some issues. Okay, so I made some error here. I made this type error. Instead of me try git, I write God, so git push origin main. We want this, yeah, so it's already pushed. So from wherever you are, you can access this file and see what we have done. So is there any question? We have less than 1 minute. Maybe if you have a lot of questions, maybe I can schedule the meeting again so that you can join with the same link. Please, is there any question? Please, is there any question? Please, is there
There's
any
no
question?
question for now.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay,
when we
so
go through, if there's any trouble, then we let you know.
okay. So I think if there is